Let us watch from Algol's perspective, and it's a Knef mirror match. Oh yay. Have to see which way they play this. But yes, welcome to the Boneyard. Personally, one of my favourite maps in the game. And we have Algol as Knef versus Catharsis as Knef. So, while these two get themselves set up, grabbing CUs and establishing how aggressive they're going to be, let's discuss this map a little bit. So, much to the detriment of many people, as low as all of this in the middle is, which it is, this is not particularly hard terrain. These cliffs are, these aren't. However, they are treated the same as those large rocky outcrops. They are hard cover, so you cannot shoot over them, you cannot shoot through them. Obviously, abilities can still pass through any indirect fire, but as far as direct fire, these are absolute. You cannot shoot through them, as silly as that may seem. But it does give a nice urban feel to the map. And again, having tool structures here, I suppose it could work, but again, it might just be obscuring and a pain in the backside. So I'm generally okay with it. And Algol immediately going for the Blast Drone Rush. We will see how that works out for him. In the meantime, I think Thos is going for the same thing, just down the other side of the map. So I think we are going to have a battle of who can be the sneakiest git in the meantime. Keep in mind, once upon a time, these were planned to be a production cruiser for the Coalition. Like medium production cruiser, I think it was named, or something that along those lines, to that effect. It's all interesting to me. All the possibilities. We have sand skimmers coming out from both players. Algol getting in position for his attack run. While it looks like Catharsis is playing it a little bit more defensively, he's keeping this blast drone for defensive reasons. That being the case, I would rather he use it as a scout. Early on, there is very little that can really catch a blast drone. Do we... Only one? Fair enough. So, got a bit of a sand skimmer fight here. The blast drone isn't really in position for Catharsis, so he is going to lose one of these sand skimmers. This is very risky. This is stupidly risky. This is very bad. Rip Algol. Yeah. Algol needs to learn to focus fire. He also needs to learn to get level 1 armor, which he's getting now, so he realizes his mistake. It wouldn't really have saved him, because these sand skimmers would have picked off the remaining badly damaged skimmers. So yeah, what it really allows you to do is it's less a case of preventing loss of your skimmers, but instead it makes it effective for you to suicide rush with one skimmer to prevent any other skimmers being damaged. So you trade 100 CUs for 150, which is a good trade. Again, looks like Algol just getting out microed by Catharsis. What are we seeing as far as tech directions at the moment? No tech pickups at the moment for Algol. He is instead going for economy. Not sure if that's the same yet. So there's no sign of that yet on Catharsis. We will see. But I do feel like Algol missed an opportunity. I think he could have gotten... Oh, good damage, but no follow-up. There's no skimmers here to finish these off. They will heal that off. They are vulnerable at the moment, though. So if Algol can catch them, he could do some good damage, but he has no speed upgrades against Catharsis, who has that extra speed. The extra 20 speed from the raiding upgrade for sand skimmers is very important. The damage less so, but the speed is absolutely necessary. You need to be able to swoop in and out of fights, which Catharsis can now do. And Algol simply can't catch him, so... Looks like Algol is going to pick up a kill here, though. He does have numbers advantage. Yep, one goes down. Catharsis is following up with rail tech, so Algol really needs to be getting into air or rails of his own, which is currently not the case, and he does have the resources for it, so no real excuse on that. Once again, though, Catharsis managing the damage really well, keeping losses to a minimum, and keeping that damage spread out across his units, so making the most of his regen. But otherwise, pretty passive so far. Algol trying to go in for a sneaky blast drone, but again, you're going to get the same result. Yeah, Catharsis is happy to take that trade. He is happy to take the hit to the face, knowing that he will have time to heal that damage off. You cannot just ram a blast drone into armoured skimmers. So, not good at all for Algol at the moment. He has, however, got 2 artifact pickups, so there is that in his favour. What are we seeing? Raiding now being picked up by Algol. This is wanton waste at this point. This blast runner, may as well be its name. I'll be honest. Should have headed straight back to the carrier. There's no reason for it to head out here. He could have sent it home, recycled it, and got some of these CUs back. Instead, he has wasted an additional 300 CUs on this. So very poor management of that. He has spent more on the blast drones than the value of that base runner. And he has got nothing back for it. Meanwhile, Catharsis now just sat in mid. Got 2 assault... The 2 assault rails really aren't threatening. Like, right now, I feel like Algol could just spam skimmers. Get some more upgrades and just swarm Catharsis. There's nothing stopping him from doing that. But I suspect it is... Yeah, 2 production cruisers from Catharsis to the 1 of Algol. Can Algol take this fight? That depends. Dubious. Especially with that blast drone there, it would probably be a case that Algol would push in, he would do some damage, but then he would be taking hits from those assault rails, and the moment Catharsis feels like he's losing, he would just push up with those blast drones, and Algol would have to retreat or take massive damage. And the longer this goes on, the longer that it's a case that Catharsis is building up these assault rails, the harder it's going to get. What are we seeing? So, Algol going into assault ships, which not the best of choices, but I mean it would make sense to go into interceptors. But he's getting armor level 2. Level 2. This is not particularly helpful to him. He has 1 assault ship, and he has armor level 2 on it. And he's dealing with rails. He already knows he's dealing with rails, so this is very poor choice. He is well and truly overinvested in assault ships in the worst way possible. Yeah. Ouch. Okay, so now this assault ship is going to achieve diddly. This assault ship is going to achieve diddly. And so yeah, that's 3 assault ships which have very little value. We're still not seeing a siege or an interceptor transition, which would be much more favourable. Fortunately, there are no blast drones left here, so if Algol is allowed to get on top of this, he will win that fight, and handily. Yeah, I think that's over. That's a 1 fight for Algol right now. That's very poorly played by Catharsis, sitting with this ridge blocking his line of sight. But still, because of the losses that Algol suffered to those blast drones, he doesn't have the numbers advantage he should have, and the assault ships, in all their worthlessness, can't actually catch the fight. So what should Algol be doing? Algol should be sending these assault ships down this far flank and around to hit the economy. So literally in both cases, he should take 2 assault ships, they go over to this corner, and then they sweep through the economy. 2 more go over here, and they come in from this direction. Why? Because, 1, it's minimum effort from the player. You don't think about those assault ships anymore, you've sent them off. Then Algol can see about focusing on holding this front line, and on developing his forces. Now, meanwhile, his opponent has to go, oh crap, I'm being attacked on 2 flanks, I need to send forces to stop both of them. It splits up Catharsis, it forces him on the defensive, and would help Algol immensely. But again, at the moment, we have Algol playing to Catharsis' tune. Catharsis, meanwhile, is already getting prepped for the air, which should have been up ages ago, and getting an honor guard cruiser. So this fight is only going to get worse for him. Much worse. Oh dear. Oh, just very poor choices on Algol's part. Not making effective use of his early blast drones. Not managing his opponent's blast drones particularly well either, and investing in units that he's not as he's got level 3 armor on these assault ships. There is an honor guard cruiser coming across the map. There is 600 RUs. Let's go over that again. 600 RUs has been invested in 4 assault ships. They're not taking hits. These assault ships are not tanking for Algol's army. They are supporting his army. The real army is the skimmers, and they're about to run into an honor guard cruiser. I'm pretty sure Algol just bricked it because he just saw an honor guard cruiser, and he's like, I don't have a counter to that. Now, what's he going to panic by? He's going to panic into interceptors. Oh, no, it looks like he planned those interceptors. But again, like, look at this queue. If you're queuing up this many interceptors, it shows how far behind you are. Now, because Catharsis is already teched into missile ships, and he has 2 of them, I'd say that Siege would have been a better pick. Rushing Siege would have been much better for him, but he doesn't know that because he's not scouting. The accumulation of Algol's entire knowledge is about this much of the map, so anything outside of this, Algol has no knowledge of. There is a second honor guard coming, so now admittedly, I think that Algol is in a position where there's only 2 missile ships, and look at how so these assault ships are incredibly tanky, but they're just not being used. They should be coming around here. They should be here. Look, 600 RUs wasted. But meanwhile, yeah, that was going well for Algol until the honor guard cruiser fired at him. And imagine there could have been 4 assault ships about here being useful. Oh well, Algol probably deserves to get wrecked anyway. I mean, he's not even close enough to this expansion to effectively mine from it. That's how poorly Algol is playing right now, so I shouldn't be that surprised. So, now that your most over-invested in unit has done nothing for you, and your army's dead, what are you going to do? I reckon, yeah, so what he's going to do now is, because he's going to send in everything piecemeal, he's now going to send in these assault ships piecemeal, with nothing to work alongside, against 3 honor guard cruisers. Ah, no, he hasn't even got the balls for that. He's going to get picked apart. So, the way this is going to go down, Catharsis is in charge. He is large and in charge at this point. He is going to just set himself up with vision. He's going to sit these on the guard cruisers wherever he feels like, and he's just gonna blow chunks out of Algol, and Algol is going to just kind of die slowly. Pow! Can I have carrier? Throws out a couple of missiles, not enough to be effective. Complete map control to Catharsis, who's probably just going to cap out. So, yeah. And it's all because... so how much is actually invested in assault ships? So there's the 600 CUs, the 600 RUs, which is from the 3 upgrades. Then there's the cost of each of these. So there's another 880 CUs in the units. Those interceptors finally get launched. They do some damage, and then I suspect they all get shot down because there's no micro. Yeah, no micro, so they all get shot down. But they did put some good damage on. And all of the assault ships go down, I suspect. Is that two more assault ships come out? Yeah. And then, what's the additional cost? Is it 35 RUs per assault ship as well? I think it is something obnoxious like 35. So we'll say somewhere in the region of 700 RUs was invested in assault ships. And that's outside of just teching them. That's for producing them and upgrading them. Just something like 720 RUs or something terrible like that. Welcome, Romper. You've missed all the good bits. You're just watching Algol die. I'm kind of expecting that Catharsis isn't even going to deliver the artifact just so that he can kill Algol. Maybe he's forgotten, though. But yeah. Algol is all kinds of dead. And... yeah. See, Catharsis did so much better than Algol there that instead of using the 4 honor guards, 3 honor guards and the heavy rails he's got there, he came all the way over with his slow-ass carrier and blew him up with missiles. Just put him in his place. Get wrecked. So yeah. So not only was Algol behind in resources, he wasted a vast amount of resources. Wasted. So yeah. So I suppose that comes back to unit upgrades. I seriously recommend, as far as unit upgrades, you consider what you are going to get from that upgrade. As far as rails are concerned, level 1 armor is great because it's +3 armor. You're doubling the armor they have. And to give you some idea, that's reducing the damage that AAVs do to them substantially. Because they go from taking, what is it, like 8 damage per hit? Believe 3 armor, yeah, 8 damage per hit, and that goes down to 5 damage per hit, which is kind of a big deal. So yeah. Now getting level 3 armor on assault ships did what? And he only had 4 of them for most of the time, and they didn't actually inflict much damage. They weren't in the fight most of the time. They were just kind of milling about at the back, kind of going, "Oh, we're special, aren't we?" Again, I would have invested in maybe armor level 1 and then sent them around the flanks, put pressure on Catharsis, get him to pull back, get myself some breathing room, and then start using the interceptors to start picking off targets of opportunity, and then shift into siege or bombers, depending on how I felt. But yeah, Algol at the end of the day was playing to Catharsis tune and was promptly crushed. So, meh.